Hello, everyone. My name is May Morton Detton.
I'm Sarah Freeman.
I'm Leanne.
And I'm Audrey.
And we are Waves for Now. And we are proposing a smart foundation.
We are proposing a smart infrastructure system that helps protect people from the destruction of earthquakes. This can be implemented at a small scale to keep single-family houses safe, and at a larger scale to protect entire cities. Earthquakes are caused by the collision of tectonic plates, releasing seismic energy. This energy travels through the crust in form of waves. There are two types of these waves. There are body waves and surface waves. P and S waves are both surface waves. The seismic waves radiate from the epicenter of the earthquake, and following this, the surface waves hit, which can cause an up and down motion, a back and forth motion, and it can appear like rolling. These waves weaken with increasing distance, and the strongest ground shaking occurs at the epicenter. Earthquakes do not kill people, buildings do. It is not a natural disaster, it is a human disaster because we do not know how to react to it and work with it. This design is absorbing the earthquake rather than blocking it. This design would embrace the natural phenomenon without it hurting anybody, but this allows also humans to realize that you cannot resist nature, but you can learn from it.
So there are approximately 10,000 casualties a year from earthquakes. Now, I live in California, and they always talk about the big one happening, right? So I'd really like to be in a built environment that's made to handle the big one when it comes. So for the beginning of the modern age, buildings were built to be stiff and rigid, hoping to block the force of an earthquake, but now we're realizing that was kind of wrong. So now design is moving more towards designing flexible buildings, as you can see from the simulation that we saw at the California Science Center. So some precedents that we took inspiration from, one of the biggest ones was the MIT Tangible Media Project Kinephone, which is that GIF in the corner. It's an interactive surface that can react to external stimuli and change how it looks. We also looked at ancient Japanese buildings, which the pagoda tower in the middle was built with a flexible central pillar, which allows it to stand up to seismic activity much better than some modern Japanese buildings. We also looked at how high-rise buildings are dealing with high wind speeds and earthquakes. One of the ways they deal with that is a tuned mass damper, which is a pendulum, which swings at a certain frequency to counteract the frequency of the building.
So we are proposing a smart foundation, and this foundation system uses kinetic pegs that will keep the ground parallel to sea level, which will stable the building during an earthquake. So just going to a bit of the mechanics, this is the kinetic peg, which allows the building, as I said before, to remain stable at all times. And so there's two different parts. There's the upper part of the peg and the lower part of the peg. And so when the seismic wave passes, the lower part of the peg will contract into the upper part of the peg. And so the top of the upper part of the peg is connected to the platform, and the bottom is connected to the earth. And basically, it has a metal and conductive material surrounding the outside, and the upper peg contains a variable density nanoparticle material, which I'll show now. And so this material is currently being developed by Helmholtz Association of German Research Center, and this material is really special because it changes its physical properties, so it can become malleable and then all of a sudden become brittle with just an electric current. So this is kind of a diagram of how the system works. It works in a cycle. So basically, when the seismic wave passes, the peg will contract back into the upper peg, which will help stabilize the building. And during the contraction, the sensors, which are up there, will sense the amplitude of the wave, and then those sensors send the data into a database, which will then further predict the rest of the waves and how they will react, and that will be sent to other pegs. So basically, it's predicting the pegs, and it'll get more accurate as it goes along. So here's a simulation of the concept. So you can see there's the wave and how the pegs are reacting to it, and the top is still parallel to the ground.
So this new system will help save lives and houses, diminish the fear of earthquakes, strengthen the relationship between humans and nature, as well as creating a more community-based society through the connected data points. This infrastructure can be applied to various architectural designs. In a small scale, this proposal can be used to stabilize family homes or individual buildings. It can prevent breakage of the structure, becoming one with the wave and keeping the building stable. Within the building, the stabilization can prevent furniture from falling on people and breaking. On a large scale, the pegs communicate with each other to provide the best sensors and reactions in the earthquake. This system creates a sense of reliance within the community, especially to protect the important buildings, such as hospitals and labs with expensive equipment. Data collection is important in this case to predict the best use of the infrastructure. Here is a visual of the pegs, which we used Unity to show the connection between the buildings and how they work together to predict the waves.
Our new smart foundation uses kinetic blocks to help save lives from earthquakes. On a small scale, it will help stabilize the family houses, prevent breakage in the structure, and prevent furniture from falling on people. And on the larger scale, help whole communities work together in order to prevent earthquakes. These are a few questions that arise. One is that, will people be willing to accept this for the better of communities and people? Will this new system be problematic for the poor, since they might not be able to afford it? And in the future, this new infrastructure system might take over the world. Will it be used for good or bad? And in what ways?
I would also like to thank Sang Lim and Xin Yu for helping me with the Unity project, because that took hours, like a long, long time.
Thank you.